And we're back on this red beast, this red dragon here. Sorry, the second video cut out. Actually, my storage space is full on my phone. It got used up, so I had to delete a few things here and there. Perhaps I could be characterized as a digital hoarder. It seems to be the new buzzword of the modern era, digital hoarding. That having been said, I deleted some of the files, so I tried to download a few of them onto the laptop. Again, I'm going to be waxing, so I don't want my belt rubbing up against the paint. So I'll pull my polo shirt out, keep all the sharp edges off. It's another security feature when you're doing a wax job on your car. You don't want to be scraping it all with your belt, your steel buckled belt, or any other sharp objects that may be on your person. Let's get this thing started. And I'm back in the shade, rotating the car as the sun changes position in the sky. Once again, the wax is going on just fine. Just fine. Seems to have adapted to the warmer temperature here. Now it's running on nice and smooth compared to when I first initiated the job. You can hear my dad complaining, never turn your back to the camera. What the hell do you think you're doing? Maybe I should be doing it like this so I can look at the camera. He's the cinematographer in that thing. It's coming off in little bits of flakes here. Reaching the end of the supply. But it still seems to be doing as good a job as it did before. It's new. Like so, of course, we have I have my overhead flames. Keep me company. I'll never be lonely. Not as long as got these massive airliners flying over it. This reminds me of the friendly people in the air, the friendly skies. No time to get lonely. Once again, I'm breaking the cardinal rule of having my back to the camera, but sometimes necessity knows no rules. Driver's door. I missed a few spots here on the fender. Close enough for government work though, as I say, right? And for those of you looking for tire wheel combinations and clearance, as you can see, I unintentionally turned the wheel out. And you can notice, maybe I'll turn the camera a little bit more to see it. You can see the fender clearance right here. Like a quarter of an inch, it's the width of a finger. It does clear, there's no rubbing. These are 15x7 torque thrusts. American Racing, I think they're made in China now. I think even American Racing is sold out, so it's the way it is. It's the culture here. Send it overseas. But in any event, these are 205 60R15s in the front, and in the back I have 215 60R15s in the rear. But the front ones are what you have to worry about for the clearance. 205s is what I have for the 60R. This is the height of the tire. Take it. And of course I have the Cobra Automotive Trans Am lug nuts. Too good to pass up. I had to put them on the car, even though they're not quite period correct for that time frame of 65, 66. They just look too good. So highly recommend them. They're nickel plated steel. Cobra Automotive, they do good work. I love their products. Once again, not a paid subscription or paid representation. Just telling it like it is as to what my opinion is. Yes, Cobra Automotive. I fear for the day when organizations like that are no longer with us. So what are we going to do for car parts? And bet you the supply is going to dry up. 3D printing though, right? 3D printing may be the savior. Let's see. That was only for plastics. And these cars are mostly steel. I'll get the rocker panels later. Top-down approach. It's a technique I use for grabbing the door handle on old and modern cars. Just grip it like this. Don't want to scratch it with your hands, your fingers, fingernails. So you just carefully put your hand around the door handle. Even if you're in a hurry, stop and think. So you don't scratch the hell out of your paint. I notice a lot of cars have all kinds of claw marks there. More on the passenger side than the driver's side. I wonder why. I'll leave you in your imagination to figure out why that might be the case. Yes, take care of your car. It's not an argument that, oh, you're saving it for the next guy. No, you're saving it for yourself because you like to have good, nice things. You like to have things that are not all marred during your lifetime ownership of the car, presuming you own it for a lifetime. The better part of a lifetime. You, of course, drive it. I'm not advocating you just put it on a rotisserie and look at it. Although that wouldn't be a bad idea. So maybe in my later years, put it in the living room. The living room fixture next to the Steinway. So I can play beautiful music to the car. Certainly has inspired me, this car, to do a number of things I probably would not ordinarily have done, like begin to write horror fiction in an automotive genre. That certainly set the case or ball in motion for me to start writing horror fiction, automotive related horror. Which is kind of my little specialty, my little bailiwick, I guess I would say. Which I put on YouTube. Once this plane flies overhead, I'll let you know what the channel is. I invite you to check it out. It's Roadscape Horror Tales of Terror on YouTube. I have all my reads of the stories I write, the short stories, the automotive horror genre. Some of it's supernatural, it's not all automotive, but this car certainly was a catalyst for me to get into that sort of thing. I always liked a good horror story anyway. Horror is life. You look around hard enough, you'll see it. I just hope one of these branches on this tree giving me a shade doesn't come down and create another horror. As I say that, that's when this sort of thing will happen. So I better pick up the pace. I'll move the camera tilted a bit here. See where we're at. There we go. Toward the back. Video take this thing to the end. And we're getting to the end of this paste. When you wash a car, any car, including this one. It's always good to get underneath this ridge here. Under the ridge is where dirt loves to accumulate, even if you're driving it on friendly days and friendly skies. You're still going to accumulate some road dirt and grime, and that attracts moisture, which is, of course, your car's worst nightmare. The car we're sleeping in the garage and could wake up like a living being. Sometimes I like to think of them as living beings. It would wake up screaming. All that dirt on it starting to rust away the body. Water loves gaps, nooks, and crannies. It's the worst. Keeps you alive, but destroys your things. Can drown you too. The wax is starting to crumble a bit. Some little chunks, uncontrolled chunks of wax that I have to smooth out. Spot there. Coming toward the back of the sail panel, quarter panel, if you will. Sail panel is the correct terminology. Sail meaning the thing goes up to the roof. I noticed on my first and second videos, it sure sounds like there are a hell of a lot of birds out here chirping away. I'm sure they're chirping for the car. They're dying to do their deed on this car, but I'm not looking. Or even when I am looking, I'm sure they take a certain delight to it. So there's nothing I can do to stop them. Alright, time to polish. Wax off, if you will. I'll rotate my camera here. We're still running. Yeah, there's still enough memory left. And of course, a pine needle makes its way onto the fender. Great, and there's another one. Right in a little trough there on the fender. Nooks and crannies. That's what Mother Nature likes in the car, nooks and crannies. Where can I hide something that's going to destroy this car? Where can I ruin it? Or can I just stay there and accumulate moisture and rust away his enjoyment? Ruin his day, ruin his week, his month, year, his life. Why you have to be hyper vigilant, as I've said, against all comers, seen and unforeseen. I want to take away your joy in life. Looking mighty fine. I might say. One thing I did miss is this little ridge right here. Ridge Road. Let that dry. Of course, it's a holiday weekend and always noise. Can't get away from it. Not for peace and quiet. Holiday weekends. Well, I guess I should talk. Listen, what I got here. A noise complaint. Oh, running, rolling noise complaint. To be perfectly honest, the neighbors next door, they did not appreciate me working on the carburetor, trying to tune the thing to lean it out. It was choking them out. Their exhaust fan was sucking up the fumes, and the fumes were pretty bad, so it smelled like the 60s. And they actually came over and admonished me, so, but I had almost finished by then, so I killed the engine and then washed the car. But that's how it goes. With all this noise, it might have been better had I just hired a heavy metal band. Just had Metallica come over and play at my house for the weekend. Ted Nugent or Led Zeppelin, take your pick. Certainly would have been better than hearing this, overhead planes. I suppose I could have some background music while I'm doing this. Get a little Ted Nugent's Stranglehold going, or Led Zeppelin's Dazed and Confused, or Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Certainly Mozart and Chopin wouldn't cut it. They don't make enough rowdy noise. And I remember the days of muscle cars sitting in parking lots with their 8-tracks going or their cassettes and heavy metal blaring out of them. Even in Toronto, good times. Memories. High school parking lot. It's looking good. I'm not seeing any residual wax on the paint here, but when you get into a different light, there's always a little bit where you missed. Easily correctable though, you just wipe it off. We'll get to the back here. This should be mighty fine. Just a brake scoop. It's always a joy detailing a car. Wonder if I should do the Mark Warman dollar bill toast. Indeed. I will be right back. Sorry about the hiatus here. We'll do that Mark Warman dollar bill style test reflection in the paint. Silly as it may be, it's very silly. Oh, the camera's still running. Put a dollar out. Let's take a look. Glasses up. There we go. Perfect reflection. George Washington. How appropriate for Memorial Day weekend. There you are, George. I wonder if he had a British accent, though. I've done some research on that, and the proverbial jury's out on whether he had a British accent or not. I think that probably most Americans do not want to admit that, in fact, he probably did have a British accent. So I don't think the accents disappear that quickly over time. And the United States was very young at that time. Therefore, there are many colonialists that had British accents. Curious. I bet he never drove anything like this, though. He probably would have led the charge in a Shelby Mustang against the British. Although if it was a Shelby Cobra, he'd be in an approach avoidance conflict. British chassis, American engine. What do I do? So, anyway, signing off on this Memorial Day weekend, Monday, 2023. Take care.